Get into all those as we do the 5 o'clock hour and get all closed out. Lonnie is Furniture Company bringing you the show this hour. I do appreciate John and Reggie. They got a sale going right now through the weekend. I'd take them up on it, especially if you know you're in the market for furniture. Maybe you're not, but this is a nice incentive. They call it the Save the Tax sale. The government doesn't like for them to say you don't pay sales tax because technically they got to charge you sales tax, but they're basically just going to discount the furniture for the amount of the sales tax, which gives you a nice little savings. In addition to the currently very nice prices that they have on everything, when you compare their prices to the quality, and that's where you got to do things that are lasting like furniture. You got to once you see the quality, then look at the price tag and you go, this is a good buy. This is something I can love and keep for years because they only buy the best furniture in the business. They just don't. They're not one of these discount put together Indian, Chinese furniture stores that sell on price. And they're not one of these bougie stores downtown that have couches for $18,000. It's just right. It's stylish furniture, up to date, professional help or not, plenty of it. Even with Bassett, you can go in there and build your own living room group. According to, they got a whole computer program set up. You can pick the arms, pick the feet, nail heads or no, fabric or no, pillows arrangement. You want two cushions, AJ, or do you want three? You can pick all that out yourself and make it just like you want it. Do you want a sofa and a love seat or two sofas? Build your own living room. If you're willing to wait and get it custom ordered like that, they'll bring it all the way to you. Y'all, it's just a wonderful place to do furniture shopping. And again, we're heading into, sure enough, summertime. I just felt like summer today to me, even though we got plenty of spring to go. And we'll be outside more. If you want some outdoor furniture, ask them about that Green Country line of incredibly well built outdoor stuff. Get that too in your own custom colors. It is Lonnie's Furniture Company off Save the Tax this weekend only at Lonnie's. From now through the weekend, actually. Lonnie's Furniture Company right off exit 280 on I-65 in Kimberly, Alabama. Man, there's just so much stuff. I just saw another story, and I tell you what I'm going to do just to better serve the audience. I'm going to go dig in more deeply to this story about the missing scientist because it keeps coming at us. Today, Trump commented on it, but I think it was the Daily Mail just now. I'm kind of scroll down to where that just got. It was sort of one of those breaking news things that you see. They're reporting that there's now an 11th scientist associated with some of our government research programs that is gone missing. Some of these scientists are just gone. They have just disappeared. They have poofed. Steve Ducey, or no, what's his name? The kid, Peter Ducey, asked about that today and said, some of these people live in regions close to the border. Are these abductions? Do you think it's a foreign nation or an entity? These people are adept at our nuclear programs, the alien investigations that are going on. Some of them are mysteriously dead. Some of them are just mysteriously missing. And there's clearly some kind of pattern here. So what the president said, well, do we still have the soundbite from earlier today, AJ, where that question?
I'm pulling it up right now.
He's pulling it up. We'll let you listen to the president. What he confirmed was he had just had a meeting about it. So, because when you get to these things, the way the internet is nowadays, you got to go, it's just another conspiracy theory. People online working each other up. It happens every day. World's going crazy with this stuff. People are driving themselves mad. Algorithms, billionaires that live in California and all over the world that own these tech companies are controlling your emotions. You got to disconnect from that stuff. But we still need information. So you got to learn how to sort out the truth from the bad. I tend to put things off until I get better verification. So when this was 2 or 3 missing scientists, I thought, well, it could be a coincidence. Then it was next thing you know, a week later, it was 6 or 7. I started going, maybe there's something to this, or maybe people are just being conspiratorial again. But 11, if the story gets posted on whoever the 11th scientist was, I'll of course try to dig into that this hour. I'll do some homework on it tonight. But the president spoke to it in a way that says there's something going on here that's at least gotten the White House's attention. One of our listeners pointed out that this question was brought up at one of the briefings with his spokesperson, and they said they'd look into it. But apparently there was just a meeting, if you listen to Trump talk about it, at the White House, and they're trying to draw some conclusions. He also said it could be coincidence. but it rises to the level of a presidential briefing. Take a listen to Trump talking about this a little bit earlier today before our show started.
There are these 10 missing scientists with access to classified stuff, nuclear material, aerospace. They've all gone missing or turned up dead in the last couple months. Based on what you've been briefed, what do you think is happening here, and do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left the meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff, but we're going to be hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you whatever you want to call it, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short period.
So there's the president himself talking about it. This is a real story. Then again, the president's in the middle of winding down a war that we just engaged in. We've still got. He's meeting with the Chinese next month. We've got international trade to discuss. The Chinese are making moves at the Panama Canal that's got to get worked out. We've got peace and/or ceasefire negotiations going on in the Middle East. There's a lot going on right now, and for them to take time to brief the president on this, AJ, do you think there's something to it? Sometimes we create patterns because we start noticing. I'm going to bring up Shark Week again.
Right.
We've referenced this for years. People will have one summer there were these shark attack sightings, and it was story after story, and all in the news. It was like, wow, the sharks going crazy this summer. So the lefties were going climate change. Other people going, there's cocaine in the water, and there's from the drug boats, and they're all doing coke and biting tourists, and also just happened that Discovery had the Shark Week going on at the same time. But they were all these shark attacks from Massachusetts all the way around Florida in the Gulf. Shark attack, shark attack. People were scared to go to the beach. This was what year, would you say? About 2012, 13, somewhere in there?
Something like that.
I remember we were in that back studio, so it was that iteration of the show back there. Some reason I remember things we talk about where I was sitting. And it turns out, statistically, after that summer was over, and you go back and look, there were no more shark attacks than were normally recorded in any given summer. But news begets news. So, in other words, you have a big one that is sensational, and the next thing you know, everybody's covering it. So the next one gets coverage too, when the summer before it didn't get any attention. So who knows? Maybe a lot of these scientists are just old.
Yeah,
and starting to die like we naturally do at a certain age.
Yeah, I mean, I know one of them, they said, just like you said earlier, wandered off because they said he had Alzheimer's.
They said he might have had dementia.
He still working? Why is he still working there?
Well, AJ, wait a minute. Brilliant comment of the day. This guy has dementia and he's working at the nuclear program.
Do everybody else have dementia? Like, did they forget that he has dementia? Like, what's going on there?
Clearly, he was hired under Biden. I blame Biden.
But I mean, honestly, it's kind of interesting because I got to understand, but just like some random scientists, right? But you talking about people that have national security implications, like they know stuff that we are not supposed to know.
Sensitive, classified, Area 51 kind of government secrets. Allegedly, that's the pattern. These are deep scientists, not Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Right.
Or Thomas Dolby blinded me with science. None of that. Anyway, weird that, and I'm sitting here scrolling and see if they further develop the story. Who's the 11th person? Now, I also understand that some of these are just former employees. And here's what I'm getting at. These are former employees of, said, the Livermore or some of the national labs that do this kind of research, which would mean if they're missing, they would have the knowledge. Somebody's abducting them to get knowledge. Or it's just that they're former because they're retired, and that means they're older and they are subject to, aging into dementia or having other issues or just dying of natural causes at certain ages. But we'll have to keep looking. Apparently, a lot of the circumstances are suspicious, and I have to plead ignorance. I've not gone in and read about each individual case to see what I think the pattern is. AJ, I'm afraid I'll get freaked out.
Yeah. It's like it's almost like you're the number 2 on for like ISIS or somebody because they keep
getting off.
Right.
What if it's the aliens that know we're about to reveal that they're here and they've been here? Mm-hmm. Here's my theory. They've been living under the ocean for a long time. They just want to be left alone so they can do whatever they do. They're doing research on raccoon penises. And that's where RFK comes into the conspiracy, because he was collecting for them. He don't want anybody to know that. And now they know the government's about to announce that they exist, and they're going to off everybody that could validate that.
I like that. That's a good theory.
They're enjoying watching us on their monitors like they're watching Idiocracy. They're eating popcorn and watching us every day going, did you see what Lowen Boebert said today? These people are nuts. Rerun that video of her getting squeezed in the theater. By the way, somebody just reposted that, and I forgot she was handling him too. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
In the theater.
In the theater.
You need to find another topic, Boebert. You need to switch to the Iran war. This ain't the thing. Stay away from this. Now, back to that story for just a second, because this did just pop up, and I know I got to get the break in here. Here comes Anna Paulina Luna. Now, let me say this. Of the women congressional celebrities, she has the most credibility. Yeah, I know she used to be a swimsuit model. I'm saying she brings legitimate stuff before the cameras. She's not just doing tabloid sensational stuff. She'll launch hearings. She'll file things about policy issues and do so pretty smartly. So right now, I think she's managed to keep the pressure on certain situations without making it about her. Does that make sense? She even dresses more modestly than these other women, despite the fact that, she's an attractive lady. But it says here that she is accusing right now. She's got evidence. Somebody has turned evidence to her office that Senator Ruben Gallego has engaged in some kind of misconduct that should merit the attention of the Senate. So she's taken this information. Remember, she's in the House. She's a Republican out of Florida in the House. She's taken this information to Thune's office. His staff has been briefed. They have the evidence. It is, quote, according to her, sexual in nature. And CBS has reached out to Gallego's office. CBS is reporting this, by the way, to get a response from him. If he gives the same kind of response he gave the other day, I have no idea what this is going to be about. But these are two peas in the pods, man. These two, there is no way that Gallego wasn't running the same playbook. I'm just telling you, AJ. Guys. If I had a friend like Swalwell, I'd distance myself, and I just would. They're exhausting. Friends like that are exhausting. Just frat boys. I mean, you know what I mean? And so, these two losers that couldn't get any if a woman died and left it to them in the will. I hadn't used that in a long time. I just thought I'd put it there. Or turning into predators with a playbook. And, man, they were Batman and Robin. They were Laverne and Shirley. They were peas and carrots, peanut butter and jelly, Ebony and Ivory. No, that's us.
Right.
Never mind. Let's talk about Tabco, man. I love that Michael has joined the show as a sponsor. We didn't have a full-service service center like this on the show. I don't think we've ever had a service center on the show. And y'all know the reputation of some of these places, especially even at the dealerships where you don't even know if they're telling you the truth. A lot of the dealerships are overwhelmed with their bad product, and you take it back because it's under warranty, and you're waiting a month for them to get back with you. I just say if you buy a diesel, same thing, man. It's just hard to get to a diesel mechanic. Tabco is a high-end, detailed, get-it-done service center that can handle anything that's going on with your vehicles, car, truck. If you got a business, you got more than one vehicle, you got to keep on the road because that's your business. Truck goes down, you got problems. Let them be your service center for your fleet and keep things tuned up and ready to go. They'll look for things you wouldn't have thought about when you bring it in. They want cars to be safe and done well. And here's the drill. Nowadays, cars aren't just fuel, air, and spark. I was actually looking at old Ford trucks the other day. I was considering getting one for giggles as a project truck because they were easy and they were simple. And there was room to get all the way under the hood and fool around in there and figure out what was going on. Nowadays, they're rolling computers. And when something goes wrong in the software or something's not talking to the other thing on the car and you get a light and you're freaked out and you're like, what is this? How much is that going to cost? Just take it to Tabco. They'll get to the bottom of it. Michael and them even have a courtesy shuttle Now, granted, you can't work in Alabaster and them. I don't know. Maybe they'll take you to Alabaster, but if you work near downtown where it's convenient for all of you, you can drop your car off in the morning. Just schedule an appointment. They'll shuttle you to work. And this, of course, is if you're not getting an engine replacement, you're doing something they could knock out in a day. They'll handle it for you and come get you and put you back in your car that afternoon. And it's done. Isn't it nice to have people you can trust with the skills to fix it? I mean, these are the best service techs in the city over at Tapco. And if you're looking, Michael was just briefly talking to me about this. We'll give you more detail later. If you're if you're one of the best and you want to work with the best, y'all reach out to Tapco. They are expanding and growing, especially being on the show with us. And let them. You can work at a shop where you'll enjoy what you do for a living. It's Tapco. They're downtown on 6th Avenue South, near our friends at Iron City, where we're doing the Jawbone Jam next month on May 15th. We're so pumped. Y'all go see them. Get that car work done. Get these ghosts out of the system and take care of your ride. It's TAPCO, TapcoBirmingham.com, or is it Tapco Beham? I think I got that confused. TapcoBeham.com. Y'all check them out. Hewitt Tampon, man, y'all go see Tommy and those guys. He sent me a text the other day. I thought it was going to be. I saw it come in, and I thought it's going to be a new gun deal. He just wanted to show me his steel construction that he's doing there that All American did for him. Those guys know each other over at his office, and so I got two sponsors working together. Makes me smile. They're just doing some things to rearrange, make a little more space over at Hueytown Pawn. It's a pawn shop for sure, and they still do pawn business. But over time, Tommy and the guys got really good in the gun business. And so they eventually, rather than just selling the pre-owned stuff that people would bring in, they started getting new lines and incredible lines in all the areas of guns, whether it be hunting with shotguns and rifles or the personal carry weapons with pistols and whatnot, and all the tactical stuff. And every now and then, they'll go out and get sort of a block batch deal, like these law enforcement pre-owned Glocks that were previously issued to law enforcement. And then they get sold as a lot when those guns are renewed at those agencies. That's a deal for us. And still a few of those left at $399. They got the AR-12s, AR-12 gauge shotgun, $279. Just so cool. Huey Tampon, y'all go and see him. And anything else he comes up with, I said, I don't care what you're selling over there, Tommy. Let me know what you got going on, and I'll tell people about the deals because it's just a fun shop. And once you get to know him, you'll see what I mean. You'll have an instant friend. He's that kind of guy. And then you got a go-to shop when you want a comparison shop to your more local gun shop that you're maybe a little closer to you than Hueytown. Or if you hear about one of these deals that we throw at you from time to time, you can go take them up on it while the deal's still good. Hueytown Pawn on Brook Lane Drive in Hueytown. Well, Trump just lit up Mandami today. I always say that guy's name wrong. It's over what he's doing in New York City. At the heart of Donald Trump, he'll always be a New Yorker. I mean, he changed the whole skyline in his business. And even though he's in Florida now, like a lot of New Yorkers, you got to hate to see the city fall apart like this. I do enjoy visiting, and I'm going to do one more trip up there in June. I think my son's tenure there is all done, and he's enjoyed it, but things are weird, man. And this is what Trump had to say about it today. He said, sadly, Mayor Mamdani is destroying New York. It has no chance. The United States of America should not contribute to this failure. It'll only get worse. The tax policies are so wrong. He says tax. People are fleeing. They must change their ways. So they're running people off. He's gotten the governor in on it to try to create a tax for people that have maybe a second property in the city, a different type tax for them. They're making it too hard to maintain the real estate and the buildings in a city like that. Almost everybody rents. Everything's vertical. And so that's only the proposals he's doing are just going to throw the economics of the whole city off, and quality of life's going to go to hell. Soft on crime policing, this dumb stuff about the grocery store. He's already had to backtrack on the free buses and all the free candy that socialists always said they're going to give out, and then they bait and switch. Well, the grocery store thing is one of the dumbest things. It was tried in Kansas. It completely went bankrupt, and now he says he's going to have a city-owned grocery store in all 5 boroughs, quote, by the end of his term, which is 3.5 years from now. They built the Empire State Building in less time than that, back when capitalists and industrialists were in charge in the same city. 3.5 years for a government-owned grocery store, which is going to fail. Let me write it down now. Find me later after it fails, or if it succeeds, I'll admit it. It doesn't have a chance in hell at working because it never works anywhere in the world that it's ever been tried. But he's got to do it because he said he would do it, and it's the last of 4 or 5 major promises he made that he's already reneged on most of them. So he's got to try to find some way to say, well, I did what I was. What an idiot. How does a city of this sophistication do this stuff? I'll tell you how. Foreigners that now live there. That's it. They voted for one of their own, and it's going to run that city in the ground. It's the new London. Back in a minute. All right, it's 5:34, Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Man, I was just digging into this 11th scientist that's missing, and all I can glean right now at this late hour is, AJ, this scientist was 34 years old, not an older person. There goes the elderly theory. And I believe it's a female scientist that was just found dead, connected to these missing and dead scientists. And the report is she had started reporting to friends that she feared for her life. What? I'll keep watching it, see if anything news developed on it, if we can get any details. Is this real? I mean, the president spoke to it today when asked. So, on that note, let's go to Thomas. I have no segue, Thomas. I just got to dive right in with you, man.
I mean, wow. Okay.
I just set you
I
up.
do. Okay.
Good Lord.
Wow. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, man.
Well, a dead scientist straight to me. Hey, I can definitely do that. But that is some crazy stuff that's
Isn't it?
going on with those
Yeah,
scientists.
it's weird. It's
I
weird.
don't even know. I don't even know how you wrap your mind around all of that. I'm definitely intrigued, as well as most everybody in your listening audience is, because I definitely want to know how the story ends for sure, and
Sure.
what the rest. As Paul Harvey says, what's the rest
The
of
rest
the
of
story?
the story. I loved him.
I want to hear it for sure. Hey, I'm sorry I missed you last night, man. I had a client that had called, and one of the things that we love doing is helping people build homes. We do purchases and we do refinances, but we've talked to you quite a few times about that we do construction loans, and so I had a consultation with a client last night that they own a piece of property, and their dream was to build a barn dominium, and they contacted us and said, "Hey, do you guys do that?" They were having trouble finding financing for barn dominiums, and that's the new craze, which I don't really understand why anybody would have a problem with a barn dominium, because it's still construction. There's not really anything to go wrong with it. Not really not a rot or anything. And so I sat down with them, and man, they're going to build. They've already got their plans built, and it's going to be a beautiful home. So we've got them on track to build that new home, got them approved. And so if any of your listeners out there, if they have a dream of building a barn dominium or any type of home, hey, have them give us a call. Let us sit down with them and get that dream into a reality and build that new home. If they don't have a piece of land that they already own, we can help finance that too while we're building the house. So give us a call, 205-859-8859, or savewithstockton.com.
That's good stuff. And we could partner you with our other sponsor, All American Metals, that does barn dominium projects. So, I mean, the two of y'all could really.
Absolutely.
And, Thomas, and I found when you're trying to buy land, it's harder to do just land financing than it is if you've got construction on it. If you're doing a construction loan or a building loan, it's a lot easier to put that whole thing together, and y'all can totally help with that.
Absolutely, because guidelines are, when you're doing a construction loan, our guidelines are the loan to values are, so let's say if you're doing a VA loan, we do VA is 100%. So 100% financing. So if you're going to finance the land and the build, it's 100% financing of the total acquisition cost. So you would have no money down on building a brand new home if you were doing a VA loan, or if it's USDA is 100% financing. So it's 100% of the land plus the build cost to build the home. So that's what we would finance, 100% of the total cost. So that's the way it is. So if you're interested in building a home, man, we would love to help. And All American, you said All American Metals?
Yeah, they're. I'll put y'all together. They're over in Bessemer, and they absolutely, y'all could definitely partner and make some dreams come true. Man, synergy, I love it. Thomas, good call tonight, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you.
Hard to believe we're already heading into Friday. All right, let me be good to the callers as I continue to scroll around, find the latest on all of this developing stuff. Let me go to Clarissa, and then we'll get Joe. Clarissa, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to say, I work in tourism, and we are doing a group tour for America's 250th this summer, and it really surprised me the number of people that opted out of our trip because we are making a stop in New York City. They don't want to support Mondami. They don't want to support New York. They don't want to be any part of the, hey, we've forgotten 9/11. And
So
it just blew me away because
it's a PR or political thing now, in addition to just the expense and I guess the crime levels too. There are a lot of reasons people might not want to go there. It's the biggest tourist attraction in the country. Am I wrong about that? I think it's the most visited thing in the country is New York City.
Yes, and not only do we want to celebrate New York all of the time because there's so much there, but especially during America's 250th, where we want to highlight our major cities,
Sure.
and capitals of the United States and things like that, and just not to be able to get everybody going that we wanted to go because they've made that hard line in the sand. So anyway, I just wanted to call and say that we are seeing that here in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, on the tourism front, people putting their foot down and not going to New York City.
Keep us posted on that, Clarissa. That's good.
Absolutely.
That's interesting feedback. Thank you. Good call. Yeah, look, I've always enjoyed my visits. I always walk around there thinking, could I live here? Could I ever live here? And the answer is no. I mean, especially not at this stage. Maybe in my 20s or 30s, it would have been exciting, like my son and his wife and all them. But the city is changing, and it's changing rapidly, and it's following a pattern that we've seen in other major capitals around the world, where it's lost its identity and its heritage, and a new generation is coming along to ruin everything that was built. Remember, socialists don't build anything; they don't produce anything. They're so government oriented. They just steal from the producers. They demand from the production side of the economy, and once they've done taking and draining it dry, everything dies, and it always happens. And the thing is, look, he's just a mayor and he can't do things by edict, but he's got a lot of foolish people going along with him in the whole city. And they're so naive and just ignorant, and it's a shame to watch them set themselves on fire like this. Joe's in Bessemer. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Leland. Hey, I had a question for you, and then I'd like to hang up and listen to your answer off the radio because I really don't know the first thing about it, but I'm from Virginia, and is it true and is it legal that Virginia and 18 other states passed a law saying that they're no longer going to use their delegates when they vote for the president? They're going to use the popular vote. Is that true? Do you know about that?
Well, here's it's a little more nuanced than that, and I don't know that.
I'm gonna hang up so we can listen on the radio.
Okay, man. All right, I'll do that. Thanks for the question. We did bring this up the other day, and I wasn't even aware of it until one of our callers called up, and I did some quick research, and the governor had just signed it that day. We know Virginia's passed this. I don't have a state-by-state count of any other states that have done it, so I can't validate that it involves 18 states. But here's what Virginia wants to do. They want to follow the national popular vote with the apportionment of their electoral votes in the presidential electoral college, which means it doesn't really matter how Virginia votes. They would just be throwing their vote in with the popular vote. And if, let's just say a generic candidate, if a Democrat wins, then all of the electors in Virginia will go with the popular vote winner nationwide, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is not set up that way. The states are apportioned electors. Now, it's weird because states get to decide how they want to send their electors. They get to have a state convention. But most states like to let their citizens vote and have a say in the electors and then send the electors accordingly. And usually it's winner take all. So it's part of a broader scheme, though, when you reference the 18 states, to get other Democrat states to go in line with this. And it would nullify, it's not just about Virginia voters at that point. It would nullify the votes of all of us here in the red states in the South. Here's how. They cheat to a massive scale in states like California and states like New York, which are highly populous and can outvote us in the popular vote. The founders designed the Electoral College for that very reason. They did not want a popular vote. They wanted it to be representative government. And the Electoral College is representative. It's the states send their delegates, their electors, to vote. And it's kind of a technicality by now, but there is a formal meeting, and that's how we elect presidents. We do it back in our states. Every state has a voice. The electors are portioned on population, so it gives smaller states a say in it, especially if the Electoral College is close. A state like Virginia could swing it every time for the Democrats. And all the Democrats have to do is let illegals into the state, give them a driver's license, put them on the voter rolls, and let them vote. So that's why these wimps in the United States Senate, like John Thune and the others, that won't pass the SAVE Act, won't put requirements on those states that there is a citizenship requirement and an ID requirement. And then anybody can vote. So all they've got to do is fake the election in a couple of big states, and we're screwed. We never get a say ever as to who the president is, period. We just get outvoted. The founders didn't do it because with the 13 colonies that became states, New York would have outvoted everybody. It was bigger. And now it's similar, but now we got California and other super large states. As it exists, when we get to the 2030 census, this is what the Democrats are trying to head off. Because of population shifts, they're losing so many people because they're running them off with their stupid policies. And these idiots that vote for them are leaving and coming to our states to continue to be idiots, some of them. They're smart enough to leave, but they're not smart enough to realize it's their own fault. So they're going to show up here and ruin Tennessee and Texas. And but their voters are leaving, and as it exists, the Democrats stand to lose 14 seats in the United States Congress by the 2030 census if they don't find a scheme to get around that population shifts. What they've been doing is replacing the outmigration from American citizens that are fleeing Gavin Newsom's disaster and the others out there. They're replacing them with illegals from all over the world. It's about a head count for them, the census itself. They want illegals to be counted in the census. The Supreme Court is about to rule on birthright citizenship. They're about to rule on racial gerrymandering, election day, whether you can vote after election day. These are all schemes that Democrats have used to bolster where they really are more in the minority than is represented in the way they are represented in Congress because of these schemes. Voter ID, voting for a month. Oh, I could go on, and I have. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. It's dangerous. It's likely to be met by instant civil rights lawsuit. States cannot make compacts with other states, and there's some nuance in the law. Some people would argue that this is a compact with other states to follow their voting patterns, and so I would suspect the challenge to it is going to come from citizens in Virginia first, where citizens in Virginia feel disenfranchised by not being represented or having a say. In other words, Virginia could vote Republican, the rest of the country votes Democrat, and their electors would go to the Democrat. And that's why they're doing it. They're trying to get enough states to do this that it ends the Electoral College. They don't like it because it works. They want total control, and they are manipulative as hell. It reminds me, there was a local prosecutor somewhere today. I saved the story, but I lost track of it, where she said that she had the power to indict ICE agents outside of her jurisdiction anywhere in the country. She doesn't. It's not our system. The supremacy clause. These people are extra constitutional. Let me say it as clearly as I can. They hate the Constitution. All of them. All the way from Barack Obama to the low-level pink hair loser on South Side walking around with a no king sign. They hate our system of government. Obama used to run around election in the country on something called negative liberties. That's an oxymoron. That's not even a thing. What it is the Constitution restricts government. It's designed to decentralize and limit the power of government. Democrats worship government. It is their God. It is their religion. They want to run your life with it. And so the Constitution's in the way of that because it was designed to be in the way of that. Our forefathers knew about these idiots even in their day and designed a system of government to keep them at bay so the wolves wouldn't be at the door and steal everything you own and take all your rights to speak and to fight back. We're at a crossroads where they keep pushing to dilute that, make it meaningless. Part of that scheme was to bring in 20 million people that don't give a damn because they're from third world countries. They're happy to come here and get millions of dollars running a Leering Center. Boy, I got on a soapbox. Alabama Dental bringing you the show tonight, alabamadental.com. Y'all go get your teeth checked. It's that simple. We all need to do it. You need to do it. I need to do it. I just did it in February. I'll be back again in 6 months. I go every 6 months. Get them clean, get them checked. If you have chronic problems, you're dealing with a four-dentist practice with all the expertise in the world to handle anything you bring in the door. They all 4 different specialists. Isn't that cool? Big practice, comprehensive, extra hours, open until 7 tonight. I leave here at 6. They're still open for another hour. They're open on Saturdays. They'll take care of you on the weekends too. Isn't that nice? Go to a practice that cares and puts the patients first this way. And maybe I'll see you around there. It's my dental practice. AlabamaDental.com. Back here in a minute. All right, it's a long way to go and a short time to get there, so let's get on it. Birmingham Broker bringing you the show tonight. That is my team down there. In addition to selling cars for you, they've got these new electric motorcycles. If you're into fun or two-wheeled vehicles, you got to go try one of these things. If you're struggling over Christmas, don't show them to your kids. You'll be buying one for Christmas. I'm telling you, these are just fun. They got them in kid sizes all the way up to adults. Ladies, they can trick them out for you too. They're little riding clubs getting together and doing these things. Way cooler than an e-bike. Y'all go see them down at BB Electric Moto, down there in the same building really as Birmingham Broker. And at the same time, if you've got a car for sale, sometimes it's just time to get rid of it. Birmingham Broker, bhambroker.com. They'll broker it. They'll sell it, handle it, deal with it, market it, transact it, do the paperwork. I hate the paperwork. bhambroker.com, bhambroker.com. Y'all go see Craig and Keith. Okay, this newest missing and or dead scientist story, this is where the story gets convoluted. This didn't just happen, but people are going back and looking at the patterns from the scientific community of suspicious deaths and linking these people. For example, this new one that's being reported this afternoon is a 34-year-old woman named Amy Eskridge. And guess where she worked, AJ? In Huntsville. She died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound back in 2022. Her family has always believed it was suspicious and there was no way she would have committed suicide, and that she had been reaching out saying she thought her life was in danger. It was related to her work. And then she was found dead, and the local authorities never put a whole lot of information out. And so now people are going back and re-examining deaths and missing cases, and that's where the list has come from. In other words, it implies when you see the headline that suddenly in the last few weeks, all these scientists have just vaporized. That's not it. Now, I'll caution you, that's where it's easy to extrapolate. If you're going to go back years, the population of scientists in this country is huge. I mean, what would you, thousands? It's thousands of people.
It's
So
a lot.
you take any population of any size, and there are going to be people that die in that population on the math. I hate to, I'm not picking on Talladega, but they used to be, on race weekend. I don't think it's happened in a while, but almost every race weekend for years, somebody would pass away over to track because there's a couple 100,000 people out there, and, people just die. If you had a city of 200,000 people, there'd be a death almost every day in that city somewhere because people die. And it's never, I remember one time a lady wandered off and was found later. People die of heat exhaustion, other things, just old age, whatever. So it could be statistically that people just in this population of scientists have passed on, but it's just being made to be suspicious. And that's the whole essence of conspiracy theories. But anyway, apparently this woman was mentioned in the Congressional Archives last year, and their claim she was targeted by a direct energy weapon or this Havana syndrome thing. Now, that's a whole nother thing where somewhere somebody's developed a weapon to drive people crazy. We can get into that on another show because I got 2 minutes left and I got to go. But I'm fascinated with it. I'll dig into it. I'm going to read about the individual cases before the show tomorrow and be better informed about whether I believe these belong together or somebody's just making a big deal out of it. All I know is it rose to the level of a presidential briefing today. My man Danny Knowles is at the Knowles Group. Y'all, the stock market's looking better every single day. It was up another 25 or so today, 115. Today it's climbing its way back to the record territory. I pay attention to the daily stuff because I'm a talk show host that doesn't know what I'm talking about. Danny does when it comes to the market because he spent a lifetime studying the averages and the trends and learning the techniques to keep money in place, to keep a return coming in and keep the growth going, no matter what the market's doing day by day. That's smart investing. That's not playing a casino. That's not rolling dice. That's just smart investing. Y'all get to know my friend Danny, lifelong friend of mine who will absolutely take care of you and give you his best advice. Y'all sit down and see if it's a fit. It's the KnowlesGroup.com. Listen to their show on the weekends here, too, on the station, the KnowlesGroup.com. And then one final sponsor, I talked about Express earlier in the show. Express Oil Change is giving $1 for every oil change through the month of April. So we got a couple more weeks here of them doing oil changes and taking $1 of that service that they're giving to you and handing it over to Children's Hospital. Very nice program. It's going to be in the tune of millions before they're done, and you probably need an oil change. When's the last time you did that? Look at your sticker, look at your little light, and if it's time or even close to time, go ahead and do it and be able to give a wonderful gift to the good folks over at Children's Hospital. They're not just changing oil, they are changing lives at Express. Probably one near you. I bet you can tell me exactly where one is near where you are right now. Get it done, Express Oil Change. All right, that's going to do it for a Thursday. Hey, Jay, I'm going to drive real slow all the way home. If y'all get on 280, don't get behind me. I got this awkward piece of equipment on a trailer, and I'm afraid it's going to fall.
Well, take your time, and by the time you get home, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yes. I'll either be crushed to death by this thing or it'll be on my tractor.
Stay tuned with Breaking Break coming up next. Goodbye.